All right. Are we ready to begin?
The cosmic manifestation. Yes.
Okay.
Srimad Bhagavatam study. Here we are. We made it, Shay. Canto Two.
What is your path to Dharma?
Before
Let's go.
reciting, before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one must first offer our obeisances unto the Supreme Personality Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, this is where I get troubled. Can you say the rest?
Probably could have, but no, I can't.
I'm gonna look it up really quick. I said the important part,
You
I
did a
think.
really great job. And I feel like you said
The important bit, right? By
and
okay. By
yeah,
regular classes, by regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely
there we go.
destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, here we go. Canto 2.
What? First of all, I'm really excited to get into this just by the name alone, the cosmic
Yeah.
manifestation. And we went through the titles of the chapters, so we're ridiculously pumped for this because
Oh,
this
yes.
is going to be good. Before we get into that, and if you want to only hear us read, we will definitely timestamp below. Look for that. We'll put it in when we start reading the Srimad Bhagavatam because we are here to study the Srimad Bhagavatam and it is
Yes.
amazing. But we need a little bit of actually, we had a little bit of news happen in our life, Hare Krishna related news, actually.
Yes.
We went to the temple. Also, I'm going to put a picture up here. Here is us at the temple, our smiling faces. Let's talk about our experience a little bit. And then after that, I need a little Mahabharata corner that we're going to have to start having because I have been listening to the Mahabharata and so is Shay. And I need to discuss some things because right now I'm currently upset at Arjun. Me and Draupadi are upset. And I need to discuss. I need to work it out with our dear friends because
And
yeah.
let us know because you are further in the Mahabharata than I am. What's new, right? You're always
A little
further than me.
little bit.
But maybe that can be like a special video, maybe a shorter video that we do throughout the week is talk about and react to the Mahabharata because that would be fun. And so if you are listening to this and you're interested in like an extra video of that, we could always do it here during the Srimad Bhagavatam study. It's
Yeah,
all related,
true,
but
true.
maybe that could be cool. A
Yeah, well,
little.
well
So
let
anyway,
anyway,
we went to
let's
the temple
yeah, we went to the temple.
on Easter Sunday, no less, which I just feel like is significant.
It was
Um,
amazing. Actually, it really wasn't planned to happen that way. It just so happened to be Easter Sunday.
right, right.
And we found a temple 20 minutes from our house, which is wild because I swear in the previous timeline that was not there. So I think Krishna manifested as a temple down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched a Swami give a talk. I don't know, that's probably not the right word, but again, I don't know what I'm talking about. But and we will also link that because it turns out he has a YouTube channel. So
Yeah,
you can actually see what we heard. We
yeah.
went, so let's talk a little bit about like what it was like. We went in there was like some like pray a little bit of praying and like singing, chanting
Kirtan.
Krishna's name, little kirtan. Swami spoke, more kirtan. We went downstairs and
I have
ate
prasad.
a prasad.
Yeah.
It was really nice. And everyone there was absolutely lovely.
Yeah, it was. It felt really special. And for me, like my body was vibrating almost the moment that we got in there and my head got hot. It was like from
Yeah.
my like third eye point to my crown felt like I had a hot cap on my head.
You were saying that.
It felt absolutely wonderful. And the thing that kept going through my mind the whole time was just this idea of being associated with other
Mm,
devotees. And it felt so strongly right to be there. Um, So I thoroughly enjoyed it. Eating the prasad was amazing.
Mhm.
The people that we met were just like so Krishna conscious. I've never
Very
really been in a
lovely.
group of people like that.
Yeah.
And so for me to be in front of somebody who can tell me more than what I know is like such a gift. Such a gift.
Yeah.
And to be able to listen to the Swami talk and to know what he was talking about and like who he was talking about.
Yes.
He brought up Narada. He brought up
Several times. It was like,
yes. He
yeah.
brought up passages from the Srimad Bhagavatam,
Mhm.
passages from the Gita. So it just felt good to be around other people, devotees who are so ingrained in this, that I know that I can learn from. And also just being in association. We've read Krishna say that that is like one of the most important parts
Yeah.
about this journey. So it felt really amazing. You go ahead.
I mean, I had two types of reactions, okay? Because
Uh-huh.
I did have a very intense reaction. As you know, I actually started crying.
Mhm.
When we got in there, I was feeling very overwhelmed by it. But if you've read, or sorry, if you've listened or watched any of our other videos, and if you're new, welcome. I'm Shannon, and this is Shay. We always start and we don't introduce ourselves. This is the Path to Dharma podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome if you're new. In a previous video, and I'll try to actually stick it right here, wherever it
Yeah.
goes up there. We talk about our spiritual journey. And there was a point earlier in my life, years ago now, 30 years ago now, that I pretty much gave my power over to a cult. I gave them my power in the sense of like, I followed what they said. Everything they told me to do and that was right to do, I did. Because I believed in their prophet. And so eventually I really lost a lot of autonomy and some kind of, negative things happened, but also everything is for me. So no lesson learned can ever be unlearned. I feel like Krishna said
Mhm.
that. So I feel good about having sort of gone through a journey and it was in my life for a reason, but part of my reaction had to do with association with other people. I have not been able to walk into a church since, not any type of church. I've had that reaction in Christian churches, walking in, trying to go, just feel very overwhelmed by it. And I don't know exactly what that's about, to be honest. A little bit of trauma, probably. So
Mhm.
that was kind of a reaction I had. And I got back home and I did enjoy it very, very much. Um, when I got back home, I got in front of my little altar with Krishna, and it was almost like I felt, I don't know how to explain it, relieved. It was almost like I wanted to just be with me and him. And I
Mhm.
know that that sounds like, I don't even know what that sounds like, to be honest. But it was like, I just want to be with Krishna. And just the feeling I get when I'm there, like praying to him and just connecting with him. It's like, yeah. And it's not that I didn't like the devotees. I loved kirtan. I mean, I loved it. Also, it was such a different experience.
Mhm.
And I've already talked about Swami Prabhupada and possibly not being 100% in alignment. And that's okay. But also, where
Yeah.
we went to an ISKCON temple
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
that's what's by us.
Right.
And so, interestingly, um, the same time we found the temple there, Krishna also plopped, which was definitely there because it's like the Vedanta Center in New York City for sure. There's something anyway. Toward New York City more, I am going to see Swami Sarvapriyananda on
Mhm.
April 20th, and his talk will probably also be on YouTube. That's just a different way, and that's Sri Ramakrishna. And that's a whole different way of thinking. Sri
Lineage.
Ramakrishna has a different, different lineage. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna go experience that. And actually, you're coming to later. You have something to do that weekend. That's why you're not
Yes.
going. So just let me
Mhm.
put that out there. Shay was wanting to go.
Mhm.
So I guess I want to experience all the things. I'm open to experiencing all of it. because I feel like it's placed before me by the universe, by Krishna, for me to either say or feel like, yep, this is it. Or like, nope, not that, something else. Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to follow the feeling in my heart. That's
Yeah.
truly it. That's why I feel like that, almost like a comfort zone, this safe zone kind of I've set up in my house just to worship in a place where it just feels like, it's like deep. It's like I will sit there for hours just
Mhm.
talking to Krishna, crying, just reading, just it's nuts. So sometimes I feel a little bit extreme sometimes. And I do have that type of personality. I do.
Yeah.
That I go like there's like either 0 or 100. There isn't really a middle in Shannon's personality.
Mhm.
So, plus it was just a lot of energetically, as
Yeah.
someone who picks up a lot of energy, you and I both do, okay? It was a lot of energy. I definitely
Yeah.
felt everybody. So when you say you were vibrating, yeah.
Yeah.
My third eye was going nuts. It was like on fire. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that was very interesting. And we definitely will go back. I mean, they sent us away with like flowers and like, they were lovely.
Yeah.
So that was our experience. What else, Shay? What else about it?
I don't know, like I've said this already, but what stood out to me so much was just being in association with other devotees. I had never
Yeah.
done that before, and that
Right.
was the part that it like cracked open my heart in a way that I wasn't expecting, even not knowing everybody, or if a man came up to me almost right away and said,
Yeah.
You're a good devotee to Krishna." And it just like I was like, "Whoa, like am I?"
I know.
It I don't know, just being around people who also are treasuring these words,
Mm, yeah.
and learning and studying this, it was such a gift, and for me,
Yeah.
beyond anything else, that was what I left with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just this feeling of being tied to and associated with other devotees who love Krishna.
Yeah. Which we haven't had that. We haven't been with anyone but each other. Well, and our lovely friends on YouTube, of
Yes.
course.
Yes.
But
So I
they're not doing kirtan with us. So
Right. And for me, just Swami Prabhupada, I have such deep respect for his mission, but like you said, it's kind of navigating this whole like, is that the lineage?
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or am I for me, I'll continue to go there just for the association because I think that's so strong. But figuring out my relationship to Krishna feels like it's a direct line and it doesn't need to go through anybody else.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how other people's relationship with Krishna can sometimes be
Yeah.
moved through another being, if that makes sense. And not that that's the wrong way, because I don't think there is any wrong way, and
Yeah.
all paths lead to Krishna, as we know.
Right.
So I think it's like figuring out and creating boundaries around that for myself. It's going to be so interesting to witness and see how this journey continues to unfold. I'm so excited for it. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. And what I'll continue to do is love Krishna and chant his name and meditate on his lotus
Mm,
feet and be in association with other devotees who are doing the same. They're doing the same thing.
yeah.
And like we've said many times, like these are the books that were gifted to us, ISKCON
Yeah.
books.
Yeah. It's true.
And I don't think it's any there are no coincidences.
Nope.
That we go our first temple we go to is an ISKCON temple. So I'm so grateful to you for coming with me. I don't know that I would have went alone. Um, and yeah, I'm just really excited to continue on the journey and to love Krishna and to absorb all of his knowledge and implement it in my life.
Hare
Canto 2.
Hare Krishna.
Canto 2.
Wait, because I got to talk about the Mahabharata real quick.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Here's where I'm at, everyone. First of all, I found a podcast that's really good.
Which
And
let's link that too.
we
Yeah, let's.
will also link that.
Mhm.
And he's basically it's this man, he's kind of summarizing in their 20-minute videos. You all check it out. It's short of going to find a Srimad or a Mahabharata to go physically read. It's
which
pretty
we
good.
tried. We tried to.
Well, we know
Best we could do.
we can go on the internet and get one. We can
Yes.
order one, and we will for sure.
Yeah.
But to get one in our hands, like right now. Anyway, I found this podcast. I'm listening, and I'm on episode, I think 14. This is what's going on. Arjun has gone into a 12-year exile because essentially, back at the palace, um, Arjun and his brothers have made this kind of agreement about Draupadi in order to prevent jealousy, because actually Sri Narada floats in and tells this story about these two brothers who fell in love with the same one woman. No. Well, they did, but it was like the gods, basically. They were kind of like killing a bunch of people, and the gods were trying to take them out. So they found this woman that both fell in love with her, and they kill each other. Nevertheless, no one wanted that to happen to the Pandava brothers, and they all have Draupadi, who is supposed to be the most beautiful woman, anyone has ever seen. And just, she literally walked out of the fire. She's a princess. She's like half goddess. Okay. And everybody wants Draupadi. And these guys got her, all five of them. And so they come up with this pact wherein she can only spend 1 year with each brother, just to ensure, obviously, like the parenthood of the children also, but like so as not to disrupt, first is Yudhisthira, and then I think it goes to Beam, and then Arjun, and then the twins. Nevertheless, at some point they say, if during the person's companionship with Draupadi is ever interrupted for any reason, like if any one of the brothers like interrupts it, pretty much, your punishment is 12 years into the forest. 12 years in the forest, which seems a lot. It seems like a very extreme punishment, but like that's what they decided to go with. And you're supposed to be chased during the whole 12 years. Is what I thought. Okay, this is what I have like a question to everyone on, because that seemed to be the agreement. That's what it sounded like it was. Well, this thing happens where Arjun goes into Yudhishthira's quarters during the time that he's with Draupadi. There's no kind of suggestion that they were like in an intimate moment or anything like that was disturbed. I think it was just like he went into their space because his weapons happened to be in there, and some people showed up at the palace like, hey, you're in charge of us, someone stole our cows, please go get our cows. And Arjun's like, well, I'll do it, but my weapons are in Yudhishthira's room. If I go in there, I'm going to be like exiled for 12 years. Oh well, I'm going to go. And he does it. He just goes in there, and I'm like, what, you can't get another person to go in there? You can't find some other person? Like, you don't have servants or someone that you can send in, or like a note under the door? There's no other possible way that, like,
No,
nope,
because he's meant
I'm
to
gonna
be
go in there.
exiled.
No,
Yeah.
because or does he want to be exiled? Because as he's out roaming around India, he actually picks up two more wives and has two random, I don't want to say random children. They're not random in any way. Two more children. So that's where now I'm at the point where he's just arrived back at the castle with one of the wives. And obviously he shows up with Subhadra, and Draupadi she's not pleased. Let me just say that. First of all, I feel like Arjun's excuse to go roam around India is slightly sus. Like, I'm not sure about it. You know what I'm saying? And then like he basically describes Arjun is like off, like, it's like goes off into the forest, and there's Draupadi at the window, like seriously? And then he comes back with a wife and child. Okay, that's fine. Or I don't know if the child yet. No child yet. Just the wife. Comes back with the wife. And I don't think he mentions that he had a random child with the Naga princess. I don't even know if he tells Draupadi that. She's just mad about the wife showing up, which, yeah. Okay, because I thought he was supposed to be chased. And then he's basically like, I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. Please accept her.
Oh.
And I think she will eventually, and I think it will be fine. But like the scene I'm at, Draupadi's like,
Come on, Arjuna.
you need to, yeah. She's like not having it. And I'm there with her. Let me just say that. I'm there with her.
I feel you there with her.
Because you know what? Like, this woman is incredible, and she's been through a lot, okay? And then she just basically, like, he leaves and comes back with a extra wife that's Krishna's half sister, Subhadra. And actually, it was like Krishna's idea to go abduct the sister. So then I say to Krishna, and then I already told you this. I'm like, Krishna, what's that? Right? And this is all I see when I ask Krishna about this whole scene. He's got his eyes closed and he's just playing the flute on me. He's like, this is how it
That's
is,
earth.
Shannon.
It's earthly
Ay,
shit.
yeah, yeah.
This is
I know.
earthly.
This is like American, like liberal white lady, like reaction. And I do get that. I do get that. American white lady, like that's not acceptable. That's all. I'm upset. I'm upset, everyone.
I feel like Sri Narada floating in right now, being like, this has nothing to do with any. Let Arjuna be, you know?
I
So
know.
what?
I know.
This is
There's
that's
probably,
the
I
Earth
know.
Gate.
It's not, I know. It's not even, I'm just telling you that's my reaction right now.
I love it.
I'll be fine.
I'm excited because I've only gotten to episode 2. Okay, so there's our personalities, right? You're on episode 14. I'm on episode 2. So when I get to that point, I'm excited to be able to actually offer a reaction because all am getting is your energy from it. So I can't even offer anything more yet.
I'm sorry, everyone. I apologize.
Oh, don't be sorry. I love this.
Also, before we get into this, let's like look at the pictures. Can we review the pictures in here before we start?
Oh,
Because they're
yes.
gorgeous. First of all, the book itself is gorgeous. So
Of course.
I don't know if we can see. I'll try to put it up there. Yeah, they'll be able to see. Of course, there's Swami. There's all these different scenes. Okay. Beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Can you read what that one says? I'll try to hold the picture up.
Plenary portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as the Supersoul, resides within the body in the region of the heart. The Lord's magnanimous pastimes and the glowing glancing of his smiling face indicates his extensive benedictions.
Beautiful. Okay, and this one I love. This one is cool, and I want to blow this up. And where can I get a big version of this?
Yeah, it's super cool. Following the process of mystic yoga, the meditative devotee pushes up his life air from the navel to the heart, then to the root of the palate, then to the space between the eyebrows, and finally out of the cerebral hole. Thus, he gives up his material connection and goes back to Godhead.
How cool is that? I love those. Really beautiful. Ah, they all are. Okay. They all are
They're all
beautiful.
so
I
good,
want the whole room of these. I want all of these.
right? While Brahma sat in meditation, the sound of Krishna's flute entered his ear at the Vedic mantra Om.
I
Thus,
love
Brahma
that.
attained complete Vedic knowledge and became the original spiritual master of all living entities.
Beautiful. And then this one is so cool.
These are Lord Krishna's 10 most prominent pastime incarnations.
And I think we're going to learn about this. In Canto
Yes, we
Two.
are. We are.
I'm so excited. Okay, so what else is in here? What other pictures? Narada Muni.
There
I knew
he
this.
is.
I
There's
knew this one.
Narada.
There he is. And then this
So
one.
beautiful. Lord Sri Krishna.
He's lounging. He's lounging on the planet.
That's our lounging picture.
Yes, we've been okay. We've been looking for something, and there it is.
And look what he's holding. Remember, we were wondering what to put. He has his shell. He has a
Okay.
lotus. He
Yeah.
has the little spinny thing, and I'm not sure
What's in his other hand, you guys?
I don't know what
Does he
that
always
is.
have there's another question. Does he always have the same thing in his hands? Okay, what's it
Lovely.
say?
What
It's
does
like
it
he's
say?
hanging on his planet right now, right? He's chilling on
Lord Krishna exists eternally on his effulgent spiritual planet Goloka Vrindavana, where he enjoys himself with
Okay.
his ever liberated associates. To create the material universes, he expands himself as four-armed Mahavishnu, who, lying within the causal ocean, produces numberless universes from the pores of his skin.
I love this picture. Is there references on where I can get these? Ugh,
Right?
amazing. Okay, here's two more incarnations. So there he is as the boar, and there's this lion. Okay, and I've seen that lion thing on temples thing. That's not
Yes,
right. That
yes.
lion avatar on temples. Yes.
Wow.
Gorgeous. Pretty intense. He appears to be ripping out the guts of a demon. So that's cool. Okay. Look at that. What's that elephant one?
The elephant Gajendra prayerfully, I love that, prayerfully,
Ugh.
lifted a lotus aloft as an offering to Lord Vishnu,
Oh,
who came to
wow.
deliver him from the crocodile and also from material life.
Beautiful.
Having been coronated after his long exile and his battle with the demon Ravana, Lord Ramachandra ruled Ayodhya in the company of his brother Lakshmana, his consort Sita, and his faithful servant Hanuman.
Ah, wow. Krishna Balarama.
Yeah,
I
coming to
love
relieve the
that.
world's distress.
That is a pig right there.
Yeah,
I
so good.
love that. Beautiful. And then here he is killing a demon, killing a giant demon.
Ah, yeah, as a baby, right?
I think so. I think so. I believe so. And this is, I think we're gonna learn some baby stories because look, remember that cart story we learned?
Yes,
Look,
yes, yes.
there he is.
But baby Krishna, lying beneath its bed, kicked his legs in anger and destroyed the cart demon.
Yes, so we get to hear this. And look at this. He literally
Looks like,
is about to remove a demon's head. Look at him.
yeah,
I love that.
so good.
I cannot wait to read this. Ugh. When human society becomes totally degraded, the Lord will incarnate as Kalki, the supreme chastiser, and kill all the demons. Blam.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous. Okay. Well, I just wanted to appreciate the art because it's stunning.
Okay, Canto 2,
Are we ready?
Chapter 1.
Why?
The first step in God realization. O my Lord, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you.
I just want you to notice something because I noticed this before we started because I already opened that up and read that part. Look at the Sanskrit. Oh Namo Bhagavate Vasu
Devaya.
Devaya. Yeah.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya. So like,
Om Namo
right?
Bhagavate. Yes.
I was like, ah,
Vasudevaya.
I recognize that.
Wow.
So
Thanks
that's
for
what that
pointing that out.
says. That's what that
Yeah.
says. Oh my Lord, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you.
I know that one.
Yes. Sri Sukadeva Gosvami said, "My dear king, your question is glorious because it is very beneficial to all kinds of people. The answer to this question is the prime subject matter for hearing, and it is approved by all transcendentalists." It is it's a glorious question. We've been saying that.
Mhm.
Glorious. Let's just go back. Let's just do every other one, Shay.
Okay. Those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subject matters for hearing in human society, O Emperor.
The lifetime of such an envious householder is passed at night, either in sleeping or in sex indulgence, and in the daytime, either in making money or maintaining family members.
The-
Yeah,
yeah, the lifetime of such an envious householder is passed at night, either in sleeping or
yeah,
in sex indulgence, and in the
the
daytime, either in
lifetime.
money or maintaining
It's
family.
true. It's true,
Mm.
though, because we are busy. It's like when you're playing the Sims game and you have to have a ridiculous amount of time, like on the treadmill or reading the random book. It's like that happens. Like 7 hours later, you made dinner.
Yeah.
Okay. Text 4. Sorry. Person,
Persons. Oh, go ahead. You
is
go.
it mine? No, it
Yes.
is yours. It is yours. Go.
I just reread what you said before. Yeah. Persons devoid of Atma Tattva Do not inquire into the problems of life, being too attached to the fallible soldiers like the body, children, and wife. Although sufficiently experienced, they still do not see their inevitable destruction.
O descendant of King Bharata, one who desires to be free from all miseries must hear about, glorify, and also remember the personality of Godhead, who is the supersoul, the controller and the savior from all miseries.
The highest perfection of human life, achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of the occupational duty, is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life.
O King Pariksit, mainly the topmost transcendentalists who are above the regulative principles and restrictions take pleasure in describing the glories of the Lord.
At the end of Dvapara Yuga, I studied this great supplement of Vedic literature named Srimad Bhagavatam, which is equal to all the Vedas, from my father, Srila Vyasudeva. How do I say the second one? Shri,
Dyapaya,
Shri,
Dyapayana, Payana,
Srila Div, Div,
Dyava.
yeah, Divapayana Vyasudeva.
Please forgive us.
Right.
Text 9. Text 9. O saintly king, I was certainly situated perfectly in transcendence. Yet I was still attracted by the delineation of the pastimes of the Lord, who is described by enlightened verses.
That very Srimad Bhagavatam I shall recite before you because you are the most sincere devotee of Lord Krishna. One who gives full attention and respect to hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam achieves unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord, the giver of salvation.
Woo! Text 11. O king, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. So basically, everyone.
And I'll say this, after
Mhm.
leaving the temple on Sunday evening, I chanted until I fell
Mm,
asleep. I couldn't get
same.
it out of my head, just chanting to Lord Krishna. So,
Yeah, same.
yeah. Text 12. What is the value of a prolonged life which is wasted, inexperienced by years in this world? Better a moment of full consciousness, because that gives one a start in searching after his supreme interest.
Yeah. The saintly king Katvanga, after being informed that the duration of his life would be only a moment more, at once freed himself from all material activities and took shelter of the supreme safety, the personality of Godhead.
Maharaja Pariksit, now your duration of life is limited to 7 more days. So during this time, you can perform all those rituals which are needed for the best purpose of your next life.
At the last stage of one's life, one should be bold enough not to be afraid of death, but one must cut off all attachment to the material body and everything pertaining to it and all desires thereof. And we've seen a few people do this now.
Right. One should leave home and practice self control. In a sacred place, he should bathe regularly and sit down in a lonely place,
Mm,
duly sanctified.
right. After sitting in the above manner, make the mind remember the three transcendental letters. Om,
Om.
Om. And by regulating the breathing process, control the mind so as not to forget the transcendental seed.
Mm. Gradually, as the mind becomes progressively spiritualized, withdraw it from sense activities, and by intelligence, the senses will be controlled.
The mind, too, absorbed in material activities, can be engaged in the service of the personality of Godhead and become fixed in full transcendental consciousness.
Thereafter, you should meditate upon the limbs of Vishnu, one after another, without being
Mm.
deviated from the conception of the complete body. Thus, the mind becomes free from all sense objects. There should be no other thing to be thought upon. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is the ultimate truth. The mind becomes completely reconciled in Him only.
Text 20. One's mind is always agitated by the passionate mode of material nature and bewildered by the ignorant mode of nature. But one can rectify such conceptions by the relation of Vishnu and thus become pacified by cleansing the dirty things created by them.
O King, by this system of remembrance and by being fixed in the habit of seeing the all-good personal conception of the Lord, one can very soon attain devotional service to the Lord under his direct shelter.
The fortunate King Parikshit, inquiring further, said, "O Brahmana, please describe in full detail how and where the mind has to be applied and how the conception can be fixed so that the dirty things in a person's mind can be removed." Wow. Did your camera just drop, by the way?
It
Yep.
was, nope, I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry, I was getting a phone call and I want to just mute my phone.
Oh,
Can
okay.
we reread that?
Yeah. Text 22. The fortunate King Parikshit, inquiring further, said, "O Brahmana, please describe in full detail how and where the mind has to be applied and how the conception can be fixed so that the dirty things in a person's mind can be removed."
Text 23. Sukadeva Goswami answered, one should control the sitting posture, regulate the breathing process by the yogic pranayama, and thus control the mind and senses, and with intelligence apply the mind to the gross potencies of the Lord, called the Virat Rupa.
This gigantic manifestation of the phenomenal material world as a whole, is the personal body of the absolute truth, wherein the universal resultant past, present, and future of material time is experienced. Okay, I feel like I want to say that again. It was like I was just saying
Yeah,
words, but I'm
please.
not like, okay. This gigantic manifestation of the phenomenal material world as a whole is the personal body of the absolute truth, wherein the universal resultant past, present, and future of material time is experienced. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. I'm with it. Sorry, I had to read that twice.
The gigantic universal form of the personality of Godhead within the body of the universal shell, which is covered by sevenfold material elements, is the subject for the Virat conception.
Interesting. Persons who have realized it have studied that the planets, known as Patala, constitute the bottoms of the feet of the universal Lord, and the heels and the toes are the Rasatala planets. The ankles are the Mahatala planets, and his shanks constitute the Talatala planets. Oh, I'm gonna need to know more about that.
Yeah, right?
What is that? The planetary systems. Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to come back to that because
Yep.
yeah, it keeps going. Go ahead.
The knees of the universal form are the planetary systems of the name Sutala, and the two thighs are the Vitala and Atala planetary systems. The hips are Mahitala, and the outer space is the depression of his navel.
The chest of the original personality of the gigantic form is the luminary planetary system. His neck is the Mahar planets. His mouth is the Janus planets. And his forehead is the Tapas planetary system. The topmost planetary system, known as Satyaloka, is the head of he who has 1,000 heads. Amazing.
His arms are the demigods headed by Indra. The 10 directional sides are his ears, and physical sound is his sense of hearing. His nostrils are the two Asvini Kumaras, and material fragrance is his sense of smell. His mouth is the blazing fire.
The sphere of outer space constitutes his eye pits, and the eyeball is the sun as the power of seeing. Wow. His eyelids are both the day and night, and in the movements of his eyebrows, the Brahma and similar supreme personalities reside. His palate is the director of water, Varuna, and the
Mm.
juice or essence of everything is his tongue. Ah, the descriptions of this,
Where is the picture of this?
right?
They say that the Vedic hymns are the cerebral passage of the Lord, and his jaws of teeth are Yama, god of death, who punishes the sinners. The art of affection is his set of teeth, and the most alluring, illusory material energy is his smile. This great ocean of material creation is but the casting
Ah,
of his glance over us.
wow. Modest.
Wow.
Yeah, right? Wow. Modesty is the upper portion of his lips. Hankering is his chin. Religion is the breast of the Lord, and irreligion is his back. Wow. Brahmaji, who generates all living beings in the material world, is his genitals, and the Mitra Varunas are his two testicles. The ocean is his waist, and the hills and the mountains are the stacks of his bones. Ah, my God.
O king, the rivers are the veins of the gigantic body. The trees are the hairs of his body, and the
Wow.
omnipotent air is his breath. The passing ages are his movements, and his activities are the reactions of the three modes of material nature.
Wow. Oh, best among the Kurus, the clouds which carry water are the hairs on his head. The terminations of days or nights are his dress. And the supreme cause of material creation is his intelligence. His mind is the moon, the reservoir of all changes. Wow.
The principle of matter, Mahat Tattva, is the consciousness of the omnipresent Lord, as asserted by the experts, and Rudradeva is his ego. The horse, mule, camel, and elephant are his nails, and wild animals and all the quadru- quadrupeds,
Quadrupeds.
quadrupeds are situated in the belt zone of the Lord.
Oh, wow. Varieties of birds are indications of his masterful artistic sense. Manu, the father of mankind, is the emblem of his standard intelligence, and humanity is his residence. The celestial species of human beings, like the Gandharvas, Vidyaharas, Karanas, and angels, all represent his mystical rhythm, and the demonic soldiers are representations of his wonderful prowess. Wow.
The Virat Purusha's face is the Brahman's. His arms are the Kshatriyas.
Yeah, the Satrias.
Satriyas. His
Mhm.
thighs are the Vaisyas, and the Sudras are under the protection of his feet. All the worshipable demigods are also overtaken by him, and it is the duty of everyone to perform sacrifices with feasible goods to appease the Lord.
Wow. Text 38. I have thus explained to you the gross material, gigantic conception of the personality of Godhead. One who seriously desires liberation concentrates his mind on this form of the Lord because there is nothing more than this in the material world. Wow. Wow. I'm like, that's stunning. That's
I'm
good.
stunned.
Wow. Just like just the writing, just the description. Just wow. Ugh. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
High
text
five. High five.
39.
High five, Krishna. 10. Double high five.
One should concentrate his mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who alone distributes himself in so many manifestations, just as ordinary persons create thousands of manifestations in dreams.
Wow.
One must concentrate the mind on him, the only all blissful absolute truth. Otherwise, one will be misled.
Misled.
Yes, otherwise one will be misled and will cause his own degradation.
Yes. It's so true. We are our own worst enemy. And that's
Oh,
that's it.
yeah.
That's the end of chapter 1. Oh, wow. Wow. And wow. That was incredible.
I
Um,
I just want to see the picture of that.
right?
There must be. There must be.
Must be somewhere that somebody's created that. That was Absolutely beautiful. And I just want to think about what it is we're trying to be, what it is we're learning here. Okay. Because, like, just the description of it, beautiful. Obviously, like, it's stunning to kind of visualize, but it's the deeper message here I'm grasping to get. And I almost feel like I'm going to need to go through and read that again and just feel it again. And,
Yeah.
and what is it that I'm supposed to be knowing about that? This allegory basically of Krishna, this description of Krishna, allegory or not, real or like however it is, I'm grasping at the immense nature of it, maybe
Well,
the,
it's
the
so big.
enormity,
I
the
mean,
enormity
everything,
of
yeah,
it.
the gigantic personality of
Yeah,
Godhead that was just explained
yeah,
here.
yeah,
And I think, to me, the key message here is to keep your mind on that gigantic form at all times,
yeah.
at all times.
Well,
Which when it's broken down into that gigantic form where all of the things are manifested within the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's almost like how are we not we are meditating on that no matter what. No matter
yeah,
what.
right,
All the things are manifested inside of this gigantic form.
everything,
And so everything is him.
right,
But I think there's a difference between we're all meditating on something, right? At all times, all of us. Whatever thoughts are going through your head are like a meditation.
yeah, they
And
definitely are.
so keeping your eyes focused on this like zoom out, I
Yeah,
think is so important.
let's read chapter 2.
Yeah?
Yeah, the Lord in the heart. Let's do it.
Let me get back to it.
It's on page 59.
All right.
Yeah, text 1, chapter 2, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2. Second canto. Am I saying that backwards? Anyway. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, formerly, prior to the manifestation of the cosmos, Lord Brahma, by meditating on the Virat Rupa, regained his lost consciousness by appeasing the Lord. Thus, he was able to rebuild the creation as it was before. Okay, what is that telling us? Already, we just learned something. This has happened before.
Yeah, I almost need to read that again
This
too.
has been done before. Okay, so it's like
Formally.
Vishnu wakes up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he was meditating on the Virarupa. He regained his lost consciousness. So he lost consciousness. This is what's saying. Lord Brahma lost consciousness meditating on this. But then he regained it. He regained it by meditating on it. I take that back. Prior to the manifestation of the cosmos, Lord Brahma, by meditating on the Virarupa, regained his lost consciousness by appeasing the Lord. Thus he was able. That's why, this is why people go to gurus and to be like, what is this saying? And I totally get everyone that's like, go ask a guru.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do too.
Yeah.
I think for me too, it's so helpful just to like, let's read it all. Let's read it all, and then I'll know what questions to ask. Like
Yeah. It's
so much
true.
of it is just like absorbing the initial power of all of this.
Oh my goodness. Like literally what text 2 says. It's what we are.
The way
Yeah.
of presentation of the Vedic sounds is so bewildering that it directs the intelligence of the people to meaningless things like the heavenly kingdoms. The conditioned souls hover in dreams of such heavenly illusionary pleasures, but actually they do not
Mm.
relish any tangible happiness in such places.
For this reason, the enlightened person should endeavor only for the minimum necessities of life while in the world of names. He should be intelligently fixed and never endeavor for unwanted things, being
Mm,
competent to perceive practically that all such endeavors are merely hard labor for nothing. As they say, you can't take it with you.
right.
You can take your karma with, you can't take your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When there are ample earthly flats to lie on, what is the necessity of cots and beds? When one can use his own arms, what is the necessity of a pillow? When one
Wow.
can use the palm of his hands, what is the necessity of varieties of utensils? When there is ample coverings or the skins of trees, what is the necessity of clothing?
Wow. Well, as there are there no torn clothes lying on the common road? Do the trees which exist for maintaining others no longer give alms in charity? Do the rivers, being dried up, no longer supply water to the thirsty? Are the caves of the mountains now closed? Or, above all, does the Almighty Lord not protect the fully surrendered souls? Why then do the learned sages go to flatter those who are intoxicated by hard earned wealth? Mm.
Thus, being fixed, one must render service unto the supersoul situated in one's own heart by his omnipotency.
Omnipotency.
Omnipotency. There's my millennial, right? Say that again.
Omnipotency.
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 Because he is the almighty personality of Godhead, eternal and unlimited. He is the ultimate goal of life, and by worshiping him, one can end the cause of the conditioned state of existence.
Who else but the gross materialists will neglect such transcendental thought and take
Mm.
to the non-permanent names only, seeing the mass of people fallen in the river of suffering as the consequence of accruing the result of their own work?
And this is why association with the devotees, other people who understand this,
Yeah,
right? Who
that's
can
true.
detach from the material life. Sometimes it's very hard for me to connect with it's not hard for me to connect with anybody. I really take that back. But like being in association with people who are so deeply in the material world can be difficult.
Right.
Others conceive the personality of Godhead residing within the body of the region of the heart and measuring only 8 inches, with 4 hands carrying a lotus, a wheel of a chariot, and a conch shell and a club, respectively. So that's that picture that we showed in the very
That's that
beginning.
picture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we know what he's carrying then. A lotus, a wheel of a chariot, a conch shell, and a club.
Club. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Text 9.
His mouth expresses his happiness, his eyes spread like the petals of a lotus, and his garments, yellowish like the saffron of the kadamba flower, are bedecked with valuable jewels. His ornaments are all made of gold, set with jewels, and he wears a glowing headdress and earrings. We've definitely seen that picture of
Yeah.
Krishna. Definitely.
His lotus feet are placed over the whorls of the lotus-like hearts of great mystics. On his chest is the Kastuba jewel, engraved with a beautiful calf, and there are other jewels on his shoulders. His complete torso is garlanded with fresh flowers.
He is well decorated with an ornamental wreath about his waist, and the rings studded with valuable jewels on his fingers. His leglets, his bangles, his oiled hair curling with a bluish tint, and his beautiful smiling face are all very pleasing.
The Lord's magnanimous pastimes and the glowing glancing of his smiling face are all indications of his extensive benedictions. One must therefore concentrate on his transcendental form of the Lord, as long as the mind can be fixed on him by meditation.
The process of meditation should begin from the lotus feet of the Lord and progress to his smiling face. The meditation should be concentrated upon the lotus feet, then the calves, then the thighs, and in this way, higher and higher. The more the mind becomes fixed on the different parts of the limbs, one after another, the more intelligence becomes purified. Is
This is
that,
absolutely insane because sometimes when I'm meditating on him, I can't get past the lotus feet.
yeah,
That happens to me at times.
that's um really interesting, as we just had his whole entire cosmic body described to
Described.
us. So, is that kind of a representation of what we're supposed to be thinking about as we're meditating, like knowing those different parts of him and what they make up. That's part of it. That's part of how the intelligence becomes purified, possibly. So maybe you're just not ready to move past the
Right.
lotus feet.
Right.
You're like happy there for a minute. So
Which
just
I'm very happy there. I mean, it's been
right. So
great there.
don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Um,
But knowing this progression
yeah,
is good.
yeah, right.
Text 14.
Mhm.
Unless the gross materialists develop a sense of loving service unto the Supreme Lord, the seer of both the transcendental and material worlds, he should remember and meditate upon the universal form of the Lord at the end of his prescribed duties.
Text 15. O king, whenever the yogi desires to leave this planet of human beings, he should not be perplexed about the proper time or place, but should comfortably sit without being disturbed, and regulating the life air should control the senses by the mind. Mhm.
Thereafter, the yogi should merge his mind by his unalloyed intelligence into the living entity and then merge the living entity into the superself. And by doing this, the fully satisfied living entity becomes situated in the supreme stage of satisfaction so that he ceases from all other activities.
You do hear like the legends, the stories of yogis doing this,
Yeah.
just going into meditation and not coming back out. That's
They're
it.
teaching that right now we're learning how to die.
Yeah. That's what we should be concerned about, actually. That's all we
Right.
should be concerned about, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, again, you can't take it with you.
Yeah.
Text 17. In that transcendental state of Labohapsanti,
Sure.
there is no supremacy of devastating time, which controls even the celestial demigods who are empowered to rule over mundane creatures. And what to speak of the demigods themselves? Nor is there the mode of material goodness, nor passion, nor ignorance, nor even the false ego, nor the material causal ocean, nor the material nature.
Mm.
Okay. Right, of course. When you leave the earth, you leave the material world.
The transcendentalists desire to avoid everything godless, for they know that supreme situation in which everything is related with the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Therefore, a pure devotee who is in the absolute harmony of the Lord does not create perplexities, but worships the lotus feet of the Lord at every moment, taking them into his heart. Wow, that's good. That's a realization.
That's nice. By the strength of scientific knowledge, one should be well situated in absolute realization and thus be able to extinguish all material desires. One should then give up the material body by blocking the air hole through which the stool is evacuated with the heel of one's foot, and by lifting the life air from one place to another in the 6 primary places. I'm just like having
read
my
that?
mind blown right now. I'm just like,
One should be well situated in absolute realization and thus be able to extinguish all material desires. One should then give up the material body by blocking the air hole with the heel of one's foot and by lifting the life air from one place to another in the 6 primary places.
well, it's that art we saw, that piece of
Yes.
that painting we
Yes.
saw. The meditative devotee should slowly push up the life air from the navel to the heart, and from there to the chest, and from there to the root of the palate. He should search out the proper places with intelligence. Wow, you're about to go out, float out of your crown. Wow.
Thereafter, the bhakti yogi should push the life air up between the eyebrows and then, blocking the 7 outlets of the life air, he should maintain his aim for going back home, back to the Godhead. If he is completely free from all desires for material enjoyment, he should then reach the cerebral hole and give up his material connections, having gone to the Supreme. Yes,
Wow.
in the Gita, one of the chapters is all about this, explaining to you exactly the steps to take as you're dying, and this just makes so much sense. Like, I've heard this before.
Yeah.
And I remember reading this in the Gita and just being absolutely mind blown, like, why isn't this all we're practicing?
Yeah. But not to this detail. This
Not
is
to
like
this detail.
this is like the manual. This is like the specific instructions.
Right, right. But to
However,
learn the control of the breath is like so
yeah,
necessary for this.
yeah. Just the mind control you
Right.
have to do this. However, O king, if a yogi maintains a desire for improved material enjoyments, like transference to the topmost planet, Brahmaloka, or the achievement of the eightfold perfections, travel in outer space with the Vyasas, or in a situation in one of the millions of planets, then he has to take away with him the materially molded mind and senses. Okay, I feel like what it's saying is he can go out the crown of the head and like go back to where there is no material nature. Or if he wants to, he can go to outer space or a million different planets. But at that point, you don't give up all that.
Right.
You don't, you take with you whatever the material molded mind and senses. Let's keep
Mhm.
going. It's probably
The transcendentalists are concerned with the spiritual body. As such, by the strength of their devotional service, austerities, mystic power, and transcendental knowledge, their movements are
mm,
unrestricted, within and beyond the material worlds. The fruitive workers or the gross materialists can never move in such an unrestricted manner.
yeah.
Okay, so the people who are like dying and like, oh, I should have made more money, or I wish I would have had that house, or anything of that matter, right? Even in connection to anything in the material world.
Attachment.
Attachment.
O king, when such a mystic passes over the Milky Way by the illuminating Susamna to reach the highest planet, Brahmaloka, he goes first to Visvrana, the planet of the deity of fire, where he becomes completely cleansed of all contaminations, and thereafter he still goes higher to the circle of Sisumara, to relate with the Lord Hari, the personality of Godhead. Wow. Wow.
This Susumara is the pivot for the turning of the complete universe, and it is called the navel of Vishnu. The yogi alone goes beyond this circle of Susumara and attains the planet Maharloka, where purified saints like
Virgo.
Burgu enjoy duration of life for 4,000,000
Billion.
4,300,000,000
Yes.
solar years. This planet is worshipable even for the saints who are transcendently situated.
Wow. That's a goal. There's a goal.
Wait until okay, there's
At
go
the
on to the
time of the final devastation of the complete universe, the end of Brahma's life, a flame of fire emanates from the mouth of Ananta, from the bottom of the universe. The yogi sees all the planets of the universe burning to ashes, and thus he leaves for Satyaloka by airplanes used by the great purified souls. The duration of life in Satyaloka is calculated to be, I can't even say that number.
yeah.
What's the one over a billion? It's a ridiculously 154800000000000 years. A lot of years by airships. Okay. Is this the aliens? Is this what
Yeah.
we're talking about? We're deep in the alien now. Okay. Text
Ah!
20, text 27. Wow.
In that planet of
Yeah.
Satyaloka, there is neither bereavement, nor old age, nor death. There is no pain of any kind, and therefore there are no anxieties. Save that sometimes, due to consciousness, there is a feeling of compassion for those unaware of the process of devotional service, who are subjected to the
Ah.
unsurpassable miseries in the material world.
I bet. You're like, look at those guys are still down there. Bless their heart. Like they haven't made it up here yet. After reaching Satyaloka, the devotee is specifically able to be incorporated fearlessly by the subtle body in an identity similar to that of the gross body. And one after another, he gradually attains stages of existence from earthly to watery, fiery, glowing, and airy until he reaches the ethereal stage. Wow. Is this what Narada Muni is doing? Is he in the middle of this? Is he doing this already? Is he already have his transcendental body we found out? So is this like
Well, he's floating around in outer space for
right.
sure.
So like this must be what he did. Well, we
Or he
read
has
all that,
access
but
or he
like
has access to at least.
okay. All right, keep going. 29. This is so good.
The devotee thus surpasses the subtle objects of different senses like aroma by smelling, the palate by tasting, vision by seeing forms, touch by contacting, the vibrations of the ears by ethereal identification, and the sense organs by material activities.
Wow. The devotee, thus surpassing the gross and the subtle forms of coverings, enters the plane of egoism, and in that status, he merges the material modes of nature, ignorance, and passion in this point of neutralization, and thus reaches egoism in goodness. After this, all egoism is merged with the Mahatava, and he becomes to the point of pure self realization. Wow. Wow. And wow.
Only the purified soul can attain the perfection of associating with the personality of Godhead in complete bliss and satisfaction in his constitutional state.
Wow.
Whoever is able to,
Renovate?
why couldn't I say that?
I don't know.
Whoever is able to renovate such devotional perfection is never again attracted by this material world, and he never returns.
See you later, Earth.
Only the purified soul can attain the perfection of
Yeah.
associating.
Only the purified soul. Your Majesty, Maharaja Parikshit, know that all I have described in reply to your proper inquiry is just according to the version of the Vedas, and it is eternal truth. This was described personally by Lord Krishna unto Brahma, with whom the Lord was satisfied upon being properly worshipped. So that's that painting of Krishna playing the flute into Lord Vishnu's ear or Brahma's ear. Yeah.
For those who are wondering, in the material universe, there is no more auspicious means of deliverance than what is aimed at in the direct devotional service of Lord Krishna.
The great personality Brahma, with great attention and concentration of the mind, studied the Vedas 3 times, and after scrutinizingly examining them, he ascertained that attraction for the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the highest perfection of religion.
The personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, is in every living being along with the individual soul. And this fact is perceived and hypothesized in our acts of seeing and taking help from the intelligence.
Is that okay? Wait. And this fact is perceived and hypothesized in our acts of seeing and taking help from the intelligence. Okay, so this is like divine intervention. This is like the divine idea. This is like the download from the universe. And that's how we know, because we know it's not coming from us. So just,
Oh, I'm feeling overwhelmed again.
wow. Wow.
I mean, just how Krishna came to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. O King, it is therefore essential that every human being hear about, glorify, and remember the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, always and everywhere.
Those who drink through oral reception, fully fulfilled with the nectarine message of Lord Krishna, the beloved of the devotees, purify the polluted aim of life known as material enjoyment, and thus go back to Godhead, to the lotus feet of Him. Thus
Wow.
ends
Ah,
Canto Two,
wow.
Chapter 2, Srimad Bhagavatam,
Wow.
Lord in the Heart.
Wow. If this is any indication of the amazing things we're going to learn in this book, then I'm like blown away. I'm mind blown, and I can't wait to see what else is in this. And if we weren't doing this right now, I would be going to my room and reading the rest of this, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to. Wow, everyone. Wow, everyone, right? Wow. Like you may have heard that before and knew what was in there. And I
Oh,
know some of you did. I know some of you did.
the next chapter, pure
Ah,
devotional service, the change in heart. And like, it's just so true.
mm,
Like, we've been talking about this big shift that's happening collectively, and just like
yeah,
personally, obviously, having this reflection happen to us individually as well. And for
yeah.
me and for you, I'm sure, like, reading this book and finding this devotional service unto Krishna is
Mm,
changing the energy around me rapidly.
yeah,
Rapidly.
yeah,
I have these people in my life who are like asking if I'm like okay with like certain change and blah 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 blah, and it's like, yes,
yeah,
I am. Like everything is fine because my mind is like fixed here. Like this is material life that
yeah,
we're living. Whatever
right.
happens is going to happen.
Yeah. We've been talking about that state of surrender that we've been
Yes.
feeling, the change, and that state of surrender being just delicious, blissful, actually, because we don't have to worry. And yeah, we still have the material things we have going on, and
And they're going to happen
but
regardless. And
it's the
being able to detach from them
yeah,
with this idea of like the meditation on the Supreme Lord's lotus feet at all times,
yeah,
it works. Like that's what it works. When I
yeah,
chant to Lord Sri Krishna, when I bring him to the forefront of my mind, all of the energy around me changes.
yeah, it's true. Well, I feel so blessed to have this knowledge, to be reading it with you, to have our dear friends with us here listening and watching. Um,
You guys are seeing our journey live. Okay, as
live, live.
we go through it, like I'm changed after those two chapters.
Seriously.
I'm changed after going to visit the temple for the first time. And so, like we've said before, like having this time capsule of this journey that we're on
Yeah.
is I'm not attached to it, okay, at all, to the capsule of YouTube. But also it's just like
Right.
such a gift to be able to share with other people and for people to see our process and
Yeah.
to witness and to be in association with all of you devotees listening. It's
Yeah.
a blessing.
We're so grateful.
Mhm.
So thank you so much for being here with us. Please let us know. What are you thinking? Thank you so much for liking and subscribing and all the things. There's no words, honestly, truly. So I guess we'll see you next week. Let us know if you want to hear us talk about the Mahabharata, because yeah,
Yes, share with another devotee in your life.
for sure I'm going to have more to say on that. For sure I am.
Mhm.
So thanks so much. We'll see you next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.